we'll call this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, July 11th, 2023. The time is 7 o'clock. We're here at the room 21 on the second floor. We have one set of minutes from our last meeting on June 27th that we will need to review and vote. Reserve fund stands now at $35,000. It's a new fiscal year.
That's your original back.
Public forum, we have chairs, but nobody in them tonight, so we'll have no public forum. So under new business, we're going to go over the line item transfers, and we'll start with the denied request, and then there are subsequent line item transfers to consider as well. If time allows, we'll talk a little bit about the 25 outline. I do have a couple of meetings scheduled that I can let the board know about that have to do with the schedule. Old business, we'll take a look at some of their old business items, and then other business, the only thing, we'll have the assistant town administrator in here to answer questions if anybody has any additional ones, and that's it for the agenda. So, if the board allows, we'll move into the meeting minutes from June 27th. These were emailed in advance. Page 626 is the first page. Basically, we started off half of this page is just processing meeting minutes from 4 previous meetings. And then under new business, we went into a review of the transfer requests. And it ends on page 626 with the fire department request to move $7,500 from salaries to expenses. Questions?
Just one typo. The word available under new business, third line from the bottom. It says budget, they will not, but there will be a report available, just needs to be fixed. It's A-V-A-I. It's just spelled wrong.
Oh. Spelling.
Yep, typo, that's all.
Okay. And then page 627, we are voting on that line item transfer from the previous page. And then we move into 1, 2, 3, 4 more line item transfers. I found no edits on this page. Okay. Moving on to page 628. The only thing, Mr. Dacuto's name had to be spelled correctly.
And I saw that also. But you beat me to it.
Kathleen?
And should that statement be attributed to Mary Beth? Because it's, Ms. Otina would like to see more clarity on how the money in this department is being spent. It is difficult to understand a 50% increase of the original budget. And the department head, Mr. Dacuto, created a report for all town buildings. I didn't say that. I wouldn't have known that. So was it Mary Beth who said that?
What were we talking about?
No, that was me.
Okay.
So just change.
Just say Mr. Anderson stated.
So we're on page 628. Well, you'll get it from the meeting minutes. But we'll just go back and just give you a couple of...
Oh, it'll be on the recording.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And then what is G over L? Capital G over capital L?
A GL, like a general ledger.
General ledger, okay. Nice.
All right. So we're spelling Todd Dacuto's name correctly, and we're attributing the statement in that prior sentence to me instead of Kathleen. Anything else on page 628? Final page, 629. So a little fragment of a sentence could get added into this last paragraph where in the middle of the paragraph it says, Mr. Newton recently requested FinCom publish their approved meeting minutes online. Technology and the clerk's office do not have the manpower for this additional task. I would just like to insert, have stated that they...
Yes. Agree. Yeah.
I believe they have the time. That's why I really want to change that sentence. So.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should press them.
Well, somebody's got to press them. I brought it upstairs. That's as high as I can bring it. So.
Give one of us
There's no more floors. We're at the top.
access to the website.
Right. That's it. Simple. It's a simple keystroke. Bling, blang, bling.
Yeah.
How
All right.
is the Board of Selectmen's meetings posted? Their
They
executive.
don't have their meeting minutes are online.
That's what I meant.
Well, I mean, they're
Well,
televised.
They're televised, so they don't
broadcast-
But the
actually,
minutes are actually
Posted.
posted. You can read their minutes from 3 years ago.
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
Very
that.
interesting reading.
Who posts them?
well, that's the
That's my
question.
question.
Good
There you
question.
go.
That's my question.
Well, we have a
Let's
new
find
guy.
out.
We have two
Inquiring
that we-
minds want to know.
We've doubled the technology department.
Yes, if we have,
Who posts BOS minutes? I'll bet it's the executive administration.
possibly,
I'd say she has access to them,
possibly, but
right?
I believe she does.
So she is a recording secretary, so some believe that that's who should do it. I don't. So anyways, that's a story for another day. So I will entertain a motion to accept the June 27th meeting minutes as amended.
so moved.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? 5-0. Are you abstaining?
John
I
wasn't
have
here.
to abstain.
Okay.
Abstaining, yes.
So we're gonna go 401 accepted. Okay. So, as I said earlier, we're gonna try to get the information, and let's talk a little bit about the line item transfer under new business. So let's start off with the $45,000 request to transfer into the facilities expense line. Todd, for anybody that doesn't know, Todd DeFuto, Mike Warner, are a new member of the
Actually,
finance
from
committee?
Scouts.
Yes.
My boys were with Mark Canal.
Oh, yes, of
Yep,
course. Yep.
Yep.
Excellent. So
So the, what was it, 45,000?
$45,000
Okay.
was requested to be added to your $102,000 line.
Right.
So
So I was
you,
probably just as surprised as you, but the next day.
right.
I don't know, I can't say I don't know where that number came from, I have no idea.
Okay.
I think she just didn't, Mary Beth just didn't want to come back twice, so she
Right.
yeah.
And Kathy's going to come in too and talk a little
Yeah.
bit more
Yeah.
about the thinking of the town administrator and the assistant town administrator regarding that
Yeah.
line. And just for the board's information,
Right.
I went down and talked to Ken today because I wanted to find out a little bit more about what constitutes the expenditures from the facilities department, right?
Yep.
So the lion's share, just as basic my memory, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the lion's share, 75,000 of it is electric and gas. Out of the 102,000,
Yeah,
75,000
right in the ballpark, correct. Yep.
is somewhere around
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
for electric and
Yep,
gas.
Is
yep.
that just town hall or all buildings?
No, just town hall. This is just town hall.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had actually 58,590, and there was one more build left, and I was.
Oh, yeah, June bill,
I figured
probably.
6,000 right around there on that. So
Okay.
that would come out to
72.
close to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, just in full disclosure, while I was talking with Ken, Ken said, oh, yes, so 102, and now there's $45,000 more in the line. And I'm like, don't tell me that. So apparently, somebody keyed in the transfer
Oh, geez.
without approval. So
Wow.
I went to the assistant town administrator and I said, listen, it's probably just a key mistake because selectmen signed off on it, but finance committee didn't sign off on it.
Right.
The transfer should not have been
Right.
put through, right?
Right. So just for the record, I know you guys know pretty much, but just so you know where we stand now, when I took the position in September, you guys kind of know I was doing some of the work for the last 6 years, dabbling in it because I was kind of the only one at the time, plus doing my regular job. As of right now, today, I'm still working with everybody's budget in their building. So I'm working with each director, Mary Holland, Chief Clancy, Chief Hanlon, David. And I'm working with them on getting things done within their budget. So, you know, we're working together. In my perfect world, I believe maintenance for each of the buildings should be under one umbrella, mine, and I should determine. It just doesn't make sense to me that if something goes wrong in a building in April and it's a $6,000, you know, condenser or a $25,000 condenser on the town hall roof, and we're going to be 15,000 shy at that point, and I got to come to you for a line item transfer yet. there's 15,000 over there, there's 20,000 over there, there's 10,000 over there. The money's already out there allocated for maintenance, yet I gotta come up and ask for the money. To me, it's like, it eliminates that.
Right.
And maybe we never come up again to ask for the money, because we have all this money already out there allocated for maintenance and repairs.
Each department, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
spread
we
out
talked a
on-
little bit about
Yeah.
that at our last meeting.
Yeah.
That really is gonna be a policy decision.
Right.
You have
I
to
do
work
know
with the
that.
Board of
Yes.
Selectmen, right?
Yes.
So, does that make the most fiscal sense? Probably, right?
Yeah.
I
I
totally
think it
agree with
does.
your
I mean-
theories,
Yes.
you know? But until the policy
Right.
making board does that, we
Right.
don't have any control.
Yep.
Only approve or not approve line item transfers at
Right.
this particular point,
Right.
right? So, that's good to know
Yep.
what your vision is,
Yep.
because that's part of our, strategic planning, right? We look for what you think the department should look like in next year,
Yeah.
5 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's good.
I think, yeah. And so as far as this budget here, I actually didn't wrap my hands around this until probably February. But I kind of knew, because a lot of these invoices are on me. But as far as electrics and other things, because furniture's in there, I don't know who bought a desk, or, you know what I mean? So I'm just not privy to that stuff. All I'm privy to is what I'm touching. I don't know, I didn't know what I did. I printed out all the electric bills. I know what they are now. Going forward now, I'm on it, and I'm demanding that.
Right. Well,
If
and you're
money
in it-
comes out of here, I want to know.
And I did say last year, in your defense, this is a brand new department, you know what I mean? And you are a brand new budget manager,
Right,
right? So
right.
we can expect to have,
Yep. Yep.
significant line item transfer
Yeah.
in the first year, right?
Right.
Or, looking for
Well, I knew right,
ways to
I knew right
streamline
away as
Yeah.
soon as I got that email.
that there were
I
going to
got
be
the
questions.
call. Off the top of my head, I said it's more going to be somewhere between 18 and 23.
Yeah, is that the
That's what it
total,
should
is that
be.
the addition, that the figure right there, actually?
Yeah, yeah.
so
That's,
almost
you know,
20.
that's, and those
That's
are
the total of
and
all
those
these.
figures, that figure there is basically, I mean, you can take two invoices,
Yeah,
the tree,
the tree, yeah.
well, actually three, the tree, the curtains, the stage curtains,
Yep.
and the logic automation, where we
Yeah.
had a faulty controller in the HVAC system. And I think they were here 2 times for that. I want to say that totaled maybe around 3,000 to 3,500, somewhere around there. The other things are,
Yeah, the
we
other
would have
things
been
are-
like, we
yeah.
probably would have had a normal, $4,000 transfer or something.
Yeah,
like
the
that,
tree was
The tree was a
obviously-
killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's $6,000 for that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, did everybody have an opportunity to go through the backup that Todd provided? Yeah. So these are unusual, flame proofing curtains
Yeah. Right.
in the auditorium. It's
Yeah.
not something we do every year.
Nope, and we won't have to do for a long time.
Was that something that had to be done for code at this time, or was just something
because
that?
because the auditorium now is, when I first started here, it was the wine tasting. That's pretty much it, other than voting and elections.
Yeah, it wasn't.
It's being used constantly now.
Yeah.
It's so to be safe, and that's why you saw a couple of the electric bills. We had to put lights in the back of the balcony, then also an exit, it's a fire exit. There was no lights there,
Yeah.
so that had to be done. We had to put spotlights outside the auditorium doors. We had orchestra leaving at the end of the night at
Yeah.
9 o'clock, and this concrete, and I happened to be driving by, and I'm like, oh my God, these people are going to get killed if they trip down here. It's pitch dark. So the next day I had the lights put in,
So more use. You gotta.
Yeah.
You gotta
Right.
make it.
Yeah.
You gotta.
And now, are you planning on presenting to the capital committee early on capital items?
Yep, I'm working on the 5 that passed right now. I'm trying to organize that when each job's going to be done, so it doesn't affect the buildings. Again, I'm working with the directors on that. So there's 5 projects that I'm working on now, and I'm working on a big project on the armory. We just turned the water on there for the first time in 25 years. And good, actually. We pressure tested it before we did it. We had a couple of leaks, nothing major. Then we filled it, and we had a couple more leaks, but nothing major. Got them going, so there's water in there now on a building that's occupied.
Right. Yeah. You
Yeah.
guys. It has turned
Yeah.
over to an occupied building.
And
over the
then
last
I
few
got
years.
estimates on getting the asbestos removed out of the boiler room. I got quotes on getting 2 boilers in there. I mean, the DPW is going to go in there while construction's going on over there. So,
Okay, yeah.
so we're trying to, and then we have a lot of space in the front of that building to use. We can move like
Understand, thank you.
historical committee over there maybe, or
Well, maybe
maybe
it's in the
recreation
email
can
from
go over
Mary
there,
Beth.
or maybe the veterans.
From the last
You know what I mean?
meeting,
It's-
the original.
We'll have options, which we don't have right now. We
This
have
way-
jail cells.
I have like.
It's still down there, right?
Oh, yeah, fill in boxes.
Yeah.
If we're gonna reconsider this, I'd just like to have a copy of it.
Yeah.
Oh, the one from last, okay.
Right, the $45,000 one. Does anybody have a copy of the $45,000 line item transfer request?
I have it on my computer, I don't have a paper copy. So it's,
It's probably
you want
happened
to
last
go line item? Like, what do you want to know?
Well, I'm just jumping ahead a little bit. Eventually, I'd like to have a copy of it. So if we're gonna reconsider it, I'll read it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I might have it in, last week's folder.
You have it?
Here it is.
Yeah.
Here they are. Okay, so,
Excellent.
let me just find the right one.
It's like page 11 of 14.
Nope, I don't see it in there. See, part of the problem is I signed my copy and I gave it away. I think that's what happened. So, if someone can find it or... All right, so in the meantime, does anybody have any more questions on that particular line item transfer? Kathleen?
Just quickly, not so much the transfer as information that Mary Beth sent us, where she states, per Mary Beth, as of June 9th, the electric bill was $36,000 and change, and the gas was $37,000. Was that for the year?
I had,
Year to date.
that was as of June 9th.
That's what, yeah, June 9th, 23. Electric was $36,314 and gas $37,034.
So that adds up to right around 70-something
Yeah,
thousand.
73,000.
Yeah. Hey there.
Hello.
Yeah, the last one I had was 40.
Kath, you wanna
Yeah,
With one.
sure.
put over there
left.
somewhere?
And that's after June.
That was with one left, yeah. That
And that
that
was-
4909 had one more left.
I got it now, because
And
Kathy has
at the
it.
meeting too, I remember she did say, waiting for June's to come in,
Right.
But this is the full year bill, that it costs $36,000 to put the lights on here and $37,000 for the gas.
Yeah.
That's not counting June, right?
That's not counting
Not
June,
counting
yeah.
June.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so it's not that you're looking for $73,000
No.
that hasn't been paid.
Nope.
They would shut the lights off then.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was my question.
Okay, so let the recording show, we now have our assistant town administrator in the meeting. Do you have the $45,000 line item transfer that I can request?
Yes, I do.
We're in
With
the-
the backup, yep.
Yep, so we're just concluding the discussion. Huh? No, thank you. You just got there?
I was just gonna say it's not working.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to take this back off the table.
I make that motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right. All in favor of taking this off the table? It's unanimous? All right, so now I'll entertain a motion to reconsider the transfer request from line 20, Norfolk County Agricultural High School, in the amount of $45,000 to line 14, facilities expense furnished equipment for $45,000.
I'll make that motion.
Well, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion, anybody else?
Just the one last question on, so it was 45, but Todd's backup here is around 20. Is the other 25 free and clear, or is that 25 covering the June gas and electric?
Well, I did add on there, the 6,000. That's what I estimated, which probably was a little above. Where's my, what's on, is 6,000 on that?
No,
that's the tree.
It's a tree.
It's on
Tree, yeah.
So I think the additional
Yeah,
money is going to
okay.
be, some of it's going to be for the facilities payroll. That-
So
Yes.
there was utilities, there was, so
Yep,
the,
yep.
yep. So, and Mary Beth did say that she did estimate a little high.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna hit that 45 exactly. But, Todd's got 20, we have 10 for the utilities, that puts us up in 30. And we have yet to be billed for the most recent past months.
Right. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, yep.
Okay. Further questions? Okay. All in favor? It is unanimous. So I'm gonna, I don't know if I'm just gonna write reconsidered on this one, or do you want
That
to
would
make
be
it?
great. I'm not quite sure, so I'll
Yeah.
just see where we're gonna go with that.
We're all,
We'll try it out.
we have
I'm
a lot
gonna,
of
I'm gonna write reconsidered
Beautiful.
and
Approved.
voted and approved. And then today's date is July 11th.
It is. So now, I
7-11.
just came from the Board of Selectmen meeting. They voted the two that we're about to talk to, but, talk about, but I didn't have them, they weren't signed yet. Is that premature of me to be over here without them
No,
signed? Okay,
that's fine.
the vote happened.
Okay.
Sure
Right,
it
so-
did.
I know, right?
All right, so that one should be all set now.
Thank you.
That's
Appreciate that, everyone. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay.
So now the next one.
Okay, so let's go 12,000. And that is from the vacation pay for terminated employees to the unemployment compensation line in the amount of 12,000.
Okay.
So, you know, how Mary Beth and I discussed it is, since COVID, there have been several cases of fraudulent unemployment claims. And so, you know, nationwide, they're on that. So in further looking into it, Maya, the policy is that they are paying all claims ahead of determining whether or not they're fraudulent. So we owe the claims, and then upon determination that they are fraudulent, would then get reimbursed. So that was her estimation to cover that line.
Yep. And from what I understand, there's a significant amount of money that the town is held in abeyance still, but there's no way to forecast when that will come back.
Correct, that's my understanding,
Yeah.
Rick. Yep,
So, wow.
yep,
All right, so can I have that one?
you sure can. Yep,
All right, so I'm gonna read it and entertain a motion.
thank you.
So we're looking to transfer from line item 35, the vacation pay for terminating employees, the amount of 12,000, to unemployment compensation, which is the same line but a different GL account number, in the same amount, $12,000. Okay. Motion.
Make a motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Further discussion on this. Kathleen?
This means that we will have transferred a total of 27,000 because we transferred
Yes,
15
yes.
last month.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep,
So it's going to be like 35,000.
And we still, and I want to say we have 15,000 held up. That should come, it should already be back, but in the meantime, we just have to keep paying. That's the policy.
I get it.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
All right.
you are right. Yeah.
Okay, further question? All in favor? It is unanimous. Today is July 11th. Okay, just that one.
Wonderful.
And then we have one more. And
Yep.
basically, the next one transfers money from the account we just transferred into.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, yeah, and I think Mary Beth's reasoning on that was just in case she overestimated, she's just trying to back that off a little bit.
So it's in for the salary line for the facilities manager.
Yes, sir,
Right.
yes.
Because there was some confusion
Yeah, I
about
know.
the starting date, right? And
Yeah, I
Yes.
guess the powers that be at the time
Didn't budget you.
Didn't
and-
budget.
Yeah, yeah.
oh, you started too early.
Yes.
Yeah.
So either somebody should have said, Todd,
Wait a week.
we're not ready for you yet.
Yeah.
We don't have that much money. So,
Right.
But this is a transitional issue, really, because we're transitioning
Right.
town
I mean, that-
administrators
Right,
and
yes.
hiring a new employee.
Yes.
Yep.
So I would say that this is pretty unexpected.
It is unexpected.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
And not recurring.
Right.
So let me read it off and then we'll entertain a motion. So we're looking to transfer from line 14, which is the expense furnishings and equipment, for the amount of $1,762, and transfer to the facilities manager salary line in the amount of $1,762. So that is the request. Do
I
do
move
have
that
a-
request.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Further questions on this line? All in favor? It is unanimous. You too?
They're not usually this easy.
No.
You guys are
Yeah, so I know, right?
Yeah, you should have been here last week.
What's that they say about these guys? I don't know.
It's not true.
Don't get used to it.
Yeah.
No, I know, I know.
It's usually the board
No.
knows.
No, really, we appreciate it.
So does that conclude all the line item transfers that you're aware of?
It does.
Woo-hoo.
Today is
It does.
July 11th.
Thank you thank you for coming in
Oh,
to
you're welcome.
explain
Anytime.
in the backup. I mean, because
Right,
new department,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Questions.
right.
We have opened up that line of communication. Liaison for your department is
I think it's
Al.
Al. I think it's Al.
So Al
Yeah,
Cafferty
Yep.
will be your liaison,
Yep.
and as we schedule the budget meetings,
Yep.
we'll have plenty of communication
Yeah,
with you.
awesome,
And
yeah.
you have my cell phone number, so
Absolutely,
call
yep.
if you have questions.
You will.
Thank you for coming
Excellent,
in.
no, thanks
you.
so much,
Nice
appreciate
Nice to
that,
meet you.
All
okay.
right.
You again?
Take care.
All right,
All right.
I spelled your name wrong last year too, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
Hold the fort.
We'll get it.
Well, you know what, I think I told you last year too, but I have a friend named Bob Kudo.
Yeah,
good night.
probably.
Todd Kudo.
So that was only strike 2, Elizabeth. You got one more.
Yeah, one more and I'm out. Have a good night.
All right.
Have a good summer.
So we're going to go back to public forum since we have someone. Is there anything you would like to speak on that's not on the agenda? No. Welcome. Thank you for coming and attending our meeting. So that brings us into, again, this is going to be a brief meeting now, for sure. So
Famous last words.
I know.
Well,
So I just want to talk a little bit, since it's on the agenda, about the fiscal 25 outline. So Mary Beth has tentatively called a meeting with the superintendent of schools to get on board with a timeline earlier this year. So we're not 11th hour meeting in the auditorium, trying to get an amendment on the school, the assessment, right? So we're trying to start the process a little earlier. So she has scheduled a meeting for Monday, July 24th, with the town administrator, assistant, superintendent, and the finance committee chair. I don't know if Hanson Finance Committee Chair is invited as well, but it's really very preliminary about looking for a timeline, and that's really about it. And then the only other budgetary scheduled meeting is in reference to the Public Works building and doing the timeline for borrowing, right? So we have a $20 million DPW building, and we have to make some type of a plan on how we're going to borrow the money. So obviously, that usually is the treasurer collector and, the town administrator. Now, what are we using for money? Now, there was some talk about using some of the ARPA money, right, to offset. So this is going to be part of that discussion. What are we going to allocate from ARPA so we can reduce the impact on the taxpayer? Because that ARPA money has to be used up. It absolutely can be used for this project too. So then, like, what's our borrowing schedule? Is a 20-year note most likely, right? But
yeah.
there's different, obviously different products to choose from to look at what is the best for the town and what we have outstanding for debt service.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the two meetings that are scheduled. Again, they're small, groups, but I intend to, obviously, when I get the information, to forward it to the whole group. So, and if anybody thinks of something that they would like input about either of those topics, my goal for the timeline with the schools is the same with every other department. Use the finance committee handbook and the schedule that they give us. It makes the most sense. So hopefully we're going to go somewhat in line with that. So, and that's all I have about fiscal 25 outline. Does anybody have anything else? Just John.
I was looking at the policy pages that we have, and there was a reference to trying to meet with department heads. And what I'm wondering is if you could talk to Mary Beth about how she plans to schedule a general session, not individual departments, but a general session with department heads and if we could have some representation to basically give the departments kind of our take on what should happen in 2025.
Okay, good point. So historically, that has happened before, where the town department budget managers come before the finance committee. That's what we schedule the meetings. So every department comes before the committee, tells us their needs and their wants, and then what happens is right before the budget season comes to a close, there's a significant gap. So the town administrator calls a meeting with the budget managers and says, okay, where can you cut, right? How much can you take out of your budget? How much can you take out of your budget? And that's what you're saying. You would like us to be more in the process.
But early on,
But yeah, I think, John,
as opposed to when we have our individual meetings, hearing one department head say, well, I thought we could add like 2.5%.
yeah, so I think, John, if I'm reading what he's saying is at the beginning, does the town administrator get together with everybody early on as a group? Is that what
Right.
yeah, I guess that's the question.
Right, so
And
that,
if they do, could we have representation?
good, yep. So that's usually part of the budget mailing, right? We tried to be more instrumental in kind of drafting the budget mailing. Please limit your department head salary increases to 2% this year, right? Some kind of an outline in the department head budget mailing while you're working on your budget, which is due by October 1st. This is what we'd like you to consider, right? Give them some parameters,
Yeah, and
right?
unfortunately, that kind of has not worked. It was failed the last couple of times, but maybe because of all the turmoil and churn.
Well, we haven't. Maybe this is me. Maybe I missed something. But everybody that sits over there seems to have heard a different message. We never really actually saw, as far as I can remember, what actually went to the department heads. Because if you listen to the department heads, it was a free-form letter and different percentages were added to each department.
Yeah, it seemed like a very mixed message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should receive a copy of the template that Mary
Yeah.
Beth sends to the department managers saying, here are your guidelines.
So at least we have an idea on what to expect coming from them, what they're being,
Right.
what discussion is going on with them.
So that'll be part of the meeting then that will take place on Monday the 24th.
I think Mary
We'll
Beth-
try to give a little bit more.
Involvement early on, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
The
wouldn't-
trouble is, you have to remember too, there's like the budget process, right? The Board of Selectmen is really responsible for creating a budget, right? So we can help try to start that, but until that budget is formatted, we have little input. But I know what you're saying, right? That we should at the beginning say, but we don't even know
maybe-
what our revenue stream is, right?
or maybe just sitting in, if Mary Beth does have a group session with everybody early on before,
Yeah.
just sit in just to hear what they're being told.
And I've done that before. I've sat in the budget manager meetings. Yeah. So sure, I'm
Be
all for
nice
it.
to maybe just do an introduction since we're shifting around who is coordinating with each department. That opportunity to say, here is the person that's, your principal contact on the finance committee.
Yeah.
Because I'll bet you that there are some folks that will go to who they used to know or something like that, or just not at all. But
Right. So pass out our member roster to all the department heads. That'd be good.
Yeah,
good
because
start.
I mean, usually
We're here. Here's our.
we try to reach out to them, but this way they're going to have it too, because we don't always reach out in a timely fashion.
But I would alter the roster to include our email and potentially mobile phone or something, whatever, a contact method
Right.
for those folks.
Yeah. So
that-
our roster pretty much has
Does it have that on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has our email, has our telephone numbers. So yeah, I think that's a good start because there are a lot of new department heads too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are.
Yes.
There's definitely a lot of people in new positions.
Since we've started developing so many more departments.
Okay, so that's anything else under the heading of the fiscal 25 timeline or outline. Okay. So as far as the old business items, meeting recording status, posting approved minutes, I'm still adamant that that should be the clerk's office. They should be doing it. So, but I'll take your questions and bring them back to the town administrator to find out who's posting the Board of Selectmen meetings. And then, so subcommittee reports on the Capital Committee,
We meet August, I don't have my calendar with me.
sometime in August. Is
Sometime in
good.
August, yep.
Okay. And the Agreement Amendment Committee?
There's
the
still
district?
no chair of that, so I will get on Jeff.
Okay. And
I see him next Tuesday.
middle school building?
We meet next Tuesday.
All right. And then the Public Works Department Building Committee met last night, afternoon, just basically paying the first invoices for the bills that had come in from the architect for design phase and some bills associated with the soil testing that's ongoing. So bids are, the bid, general contractor bids moved from the 27th to August 4th. The GC bids will be due August 4th. So the timeline really is, it's 14 months, supposed to start in October of this year and go to December of next year. And the DPW building should be done. So that's it for that one. And the audit, that's an ongoing thing that we're gonna make sure we keep on this until it happens. And other business, anybody, we have no communications, anything, Mike?
I did get access to the email system, so I moved on to that, and I finished all of that assigned training. So that's
Excellent. All right, so that was another question I had on email. Is there anybody that still doesn't have town email here? Or, quite frankly, that doesn't want to have town email? Because my question to Josh was, the only reason I was trying to simplify the email, you know, to send it to Finance Committee and have everybody included, right?
Everybody in that, under that umbrella.
If you read what he wrote, I mean, there's some concern with cyber thing, but I don't see what the difference is. If someone's email, private email, is in that group, or I add it after, is it still doing the same thing, isn't it? I'm just trying to make it simple for Elizabeth and myself to email the whole committee. If you just write Finance Committee, all the addresses are all populated,
Yeah,
right?
well-
If now we're saying we're restricting anybody that has anything other than a town email address, I have to put it at the end, or you have to put it at the end.
Well, and it's not even that it's inconvenient, it's just, it truly security, because the outside emails that are attached to anything, like, I get scolded for putting stuff on this computer that's not SIGA work. Because if anything happens on my personal email, it will affect
It
SIGA.
could.
Because it will trace back any email address that's on any email anywhere. If that email gets infected somehow, it traces back to everywhere that it's gone and been attached to.
So, I mean, obviously it would be better if everybody
security- it's a
uses town
security
email,
issue.
right? Right,
Yep.
but I'm really just talking about the distribution list.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I think
And
it's,
honestly, I mean, they've been used, so it's not like it's...
so anyway, just keep that in mind, and if anybody's having trouble with email, you know, we'll get a hold of Josh and
I just hate having so many different...
Yeah.
well, here's the other thing. The reason why it's handy for somebody who doesn't have alerts on their phone is if you send it to your private email as well, now you know you got an email. Because someone like Ralph doesn't check his town email ever. I have to call him and tell him he's going to get an email. Right?
Well, you send me emails on my...
I do, only because if I haven't talked to you for a while, I send it to you.
All right, because the
Yeah.
only one that I check every day is my work email. And then my personal email, every couple of days.
And then the town one?
Yeah.
Usually the Sunday before the next week.
Yeah.
So they don't allow you to add that email account to your existing email program?
The email distribution list, right?
No,
Is that
so,
different?
so here's, right now we're logging into Outlook, right, which is a web browser email system. But somewhere there's a server with all of our names on it. And normally, like Comcast, probably you all have Comcast, right?
Yeah, I do, I actually do.
Do you use Comcast web browser to get your email? Probably not. You probably have it through a mail program on your phone. You had to put in certain information in there, and it goes, and it retrieves from that server to your local mail program. Unless they're saying we can't do that. I haven't asked the question yet, but I
See, you know the technical.
Everybody did.
I know
Yeah. So,
nothing about
in layman's term, do you see that as a very valid point on Josh's, where there should be no? Is it a valid argument for Josh to want to have everybody on town email?
It's easier for him to read the emails.
It's a paper
Seriously.
trail.
Absolutely
Yeah,
right, John.
it's a paper trail, and being a government body, there's probably a lot of regulatory requirements that we have that paper trail, right?
Right.
If somebody said or did something bad, and they sent it to a whole bunch of people using the town email, he would have a record of it, and it could be
Who sent
used
it?
for any, for whatever reasons are there. But how you retrieve your email and read your email has nothing to do with that. So I
The
can reach
email
out.
is actually available through the town website.
Yes,
Yeah, and
So
you can
that's
probably add
how-
it to any Outlook account you have on a computer.
you can.
Yeah, I believe you can.
That's because
Or
that.
you can have someone do it for you. That's what I do.
Yeah, but what that
That's
would let
on my
you do
phone
is
now.
you would go into your phone
Outlook and add that.
and
Yeah.
you would add like
Right.
I have my Gmail and my Comcast
Right.
come into one mailbox, so I can read all of it in one place, not have to go boom, boom, boom. And I'd
Right.
love to be able to do the same thing with the town
That's
one.
why I check my town often, because I have it right under my Comcast.
There you go.
I do too.
And if I see a bunch of, I have to
Perfect.
swipe my training ones every day. No, I haven't done it. No, haven't done it. No, haven't done it.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I do too. No,
Well,
not gonna
they're
do
due
it
the
either.
14th and the 17th.
So here's what mine looks
End
like.
of this week.
So Mike, so I can click on MSN, which is my regular email, or I can click on the town.
Or you could go to all inboxes,
Or I can
and
go
it
on-
shows you the whole.
And then it mixes them all together.
Yeah,
Then-
mix
then-
it
I'd
all
rather
together,
I'd
yeah.
rather go to town. Anything new? No.
Yeah.
Go to my
I'll
other
just
one.
ask how you do it. That's all. I'll
Yeah.
reach out to him and say, how do I do
Yeah,
it?
so-
Because I would prefer to have it here. This is just a whole lot easier for me. But other than that, no. I
So
think
can you-
he's right doing what he's doing.
Right. I mean, he's
Like I
covering
say,
this
look,
stuff. That's what he does.
It gets out. It gets out the ability for somebody to pretend that there's one of us, or worse, a selectman.
Right.
Right? That's it. And he owns
And,
those
and then they
accounts.
said something. You have to do something urgent. I mean, we've all been
Oh,
given
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, we got some.
Oh, this
Or
is-
we got the
yeah,
test.
You've won the Nigerian,
We just had
raffle or
another line
whatever.
item transfer. You guys, you've got to click on this and read it
Yeah.
before tomorrow night or
Yes.
something like that.
Which would infect us, and therefore, as you said, it'll follow the path and it'll
It would
infect
get your personal
everybody.
email as
Right.
well.
But you'd never get me on something like that. They try to do it all the time.
Oh,
I-
don't say that. Find wood right now.
You
I'll
know?
tell you. Don't say that. Knock on wood right now.
Yeah, don't.
I don't know. It seems
Don't
it seems
open
pretty
attachments, don't
basic
click
to
on
me.
them.
It's like usually it's an emergency, right? But
Yeah.
Am I
All right.
right in thinking that we're migrating from Outlook to Google as a town?
I don't know.
I haven't heard anything.
I
I'm-
saw something that they were updating. I don't know if it was Google, but I did see something that they were updating to something new.
It's actually going the other way now.
From Google?
Yeah.
You know what I
Google
did
was
this year for a
out there,
security
got a
alert?
lot
You
of
know, they
businesses
like if you go to
because they were very
Panera or the
cheap
airport
compared to Microsoft.
or you know a hotel,
but they don't
and they
offer
have
the
the
functions.
USB, like just little
Oh,
USB port that
yeah.
you can put your thing in. They're putting malware in those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen
So,
that. I'm
did
Jeff
you
Ross.
see that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the same.
Like
Don't-
use your own charging block.
Yeah, use your own
No,
block.
Yep.
never stick your USB cord in a little
Yeah.
rectangle.
Like at airports, you have to watch
I
out
was
for.
like, what is that? I'm like, how?
Isn't that crazy?
Well, they had the skim cards. Remember that at
Yeah, at
you would
the-
go up
yeah,
and you'd
gas.
tank your vehicle, and the next thing you know, somebody's charging up because they put a paper
Something
thin
inside.
piece of plastic that skims. Literally, when you put your card in, it would copy it on the way in, and the guy would come and take it off, and off you go. Yeah.
crazy, huh?
Now they're doing it with USB ports. Uh-huh.
All right, so that's all I got. I've got no upcoming meetings. The calendar for 25 hasn't been established, so just keep an eye on your email, whichever email you keep an eye on. And sometime in September, I would say, after the Capital Committee has had their meeting,
It's August 17th.
we'll have a meeting following that. It's map out our strategy, and we'll start meeting with each town department and incorporate some of your ideas about early intervention.
One
John?
quick question. I noticed in the minutes the reference to we can't vote on something unless the capital committee votes on it. It's not legal.
No, we changed that. That was edited, yeah.
We updated it.
Yeah, we changed the wording.
It's FinCom policy or something. Right?
Yeah.
Just on that note, at the capital committee, I will ask that the minutes start to be produced and approved, because what happened at town hall was outrageous.
Yeah.
We did not, as a capital committee, support the $40,000 for Article 42 for the fire department. We
Right.
did not. And people at town hall, town meeting were lied to.
Yeah, I know.
Because I have notes from my sitting at that meeting, and I incorporated it into.
And unfortunately, the
spreadsheet.
chair, Don Essen, was kind of bamboozled into.
He was, because he doesn't.
He didn't
The night that
remember.
he appeared before us.
He thought.
He was working from a piece of paper that was not accurate. I said, no,
Right.
Don, that's not, I explicitly at the meeting said, which document are we voting for? The one you've got or the one everyone else has?
Right.
And if you're voting money, you have to know how much you're
Yeah.
voting, whether it's 40,000 or 42,000.
He's a nice guy, but he can be easily manipulated.
Yeah,
So,
so,
Keith, I'm glad you're on that committee. We look forward to getting an update. Anybody else have anything before I entertain a motion to adjourn? All right.
okay.
All in favor? Okay. Thank you all for interrupting your summer vacation. Mike and I are going to Montana in 3 days.